forest never sleeps. It hums, it watches, and sometimes it moves. For generations, people have whispered of something out there, tall, silent, watching from between the trees. They call it Bigfoot or Sasquatch. It's just past midnight. A hunter freezes mid-step as the forest falls silent. No crickets, no wind, no birds. Only the heavy scent of pine and something else musky, wild. A crack of wood. A shadow moves between the trees. Too large to be a man. Too upright to be a bear. By dawn, all that remains are footprints, 15 inches long, 2 inches deep, leading nowhere. Long before newspapers called it Bigfoot, native tribes spoke of it in reverence and fear. To the Sta-Alis people of British Columbia, it was Saskats, the name that became Sasquatch. To the Lummi, Semekwis. To the Hupa, Ama. Not a monster, but a guardian. A reminder that the wilderness had its own people, and they wanted to be left alone. These weren't isolated tales. Every mountain range, every deep green corner of North America held its own version, different names, same creature. October 20th, 1967, Northern California. 2 men on horseback ride along Bluff Creek. One raises his camera and captures an image that will ignite a half-century of fascination and ridicule. A tall, fur-covered figure strides through the clearing. The head turns just once toward the lens. The motion is fluid, human-like, but not human. For decades, skeptics have tried to debunk it. Yet no one has ever proven it fake. Frame 352. That single moment still haunts researchers, frozen between myth and proof. From the Pacific Northwest to the Appalachian Trail, the reports never stopped. Footprints pressed deep into snow. Rocks hurled at campers. Echoing whoops in the distance. In 1974, a logger in Washington recorded guttural howls no expert could match to any known animal. In 1976, a family near the Oregon border found hair samples unlike any species on record, yet undeniably primate. Then came the Sierra sounds, strange, articulate growls, and samurai-like chatter. Linguists said the vocal range was too broad for humans, too structured for animals. So what were they hearing? Sasquatch's cousins appear everywhere legends grow. In the Himalayas, the Yeti in Australia, the Yowie in Sumatra, the Orang Pendek. All share the same traits: towering height, thick hair, humanoid form, and a deep desire to avoid us. Maybe the story isn't regional. Maybe it's older, a memory carried through time, a remnant of something our ancestors once knew. Skeptics point to hoaxes, to costumes, misidentified bears, the human need to believe. They are not wrong. For every credible report, there are a dozen fakes. But then there's the data. Over 10,000 sightings on record, hunters, rangers, pilots, even scientists. Thermal imagery, DNA fragments, footcasts measured by biologists. None have offered absolute proof, yet none have been dismissed either. Science asks for evidence. Belief asks for a story. Sasquatch lives somewhere in between. Picture this: a creature strong enough to bend trees, clever enough to avoid trail cams, instinctive enough to sense us before we sense it. If such a being exists, it doesn't live in our world. We would be the trespassers in its domain, and perhaps that's why the legend endures, because we need something to remind us that the wild is still wild, that not everything can be mapped, measured, or captured on film. Every few years, new footprints appear in places no one expects. Utah deserts, Alaskan glaciers, even suburban woodlots. And then, a theory that changes everything. What if Sasquatch isn't one creature at all, but a relic species? A surviving branch of Gigantopithecus, a giant ape that roamed Asia 2 million years ago. If a few adapted, migrated, and hid, would we really notice? Maybe Bigfoot isn't just out there, but in here, in our need to believe something wild still exists beyond our reach. Every generation finds its own monster in the woods, its own reason to look into the dark and wonder. And if you listen closely, beneath the sound of wind and water and leaves, you might just hear it walking still. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, he may never be proved, and maybe that's the point. Because the moment we find him, we lose the mystery that keeps the forest alive in our imaginations. Another story added to the Moonlit Archives. If you'd like to wander deeper into the strange and the unexplained, subscribe and join us beneath the moonlight.